Hello, everyone. Welcome to Microservices for Everyone Webcast, visualizing microservices. I am Ozil DeBastos, and with us today is the official host of Microservices for Everyone, software architect Tom Fanera, who is paving the way to re-energize your business automation. He's here to help us visualize microservices for the first time. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm great, Oz. Thanks very much for that nice introduction.
Absolutely. Well deserved, my friend. Tom will be taking you on a visual tour, showing you behind the scenes as you visualize microservices and how everyone can benefit from it. Take it away, Tom.
Hello again, everyone. We're going to start with microservices from ground up. We're going to see right now the developer's point of view in an environment called Visual Studio. And you can see that highlighted to our right, the component called the Project Explorer and our Solution Explorer. And we will go through our various microservices components. I think it's important to say before we get too deep into this that microservices is about digitizing your entire platform or even parts of your platform. And the beauty of doing that is you've articulated all of your business functions and business domains, as they're called, and they can then be visualized or observed in many forms or fashions. We're going to see some of them today. So I think it's important to remember that microservices is a different paradigm, and the components allow not only a downstream way of seeing your organization, but also an upstream way of seeing your organization. The actual events that take place to produce the results that we normally see in reporting systems, particularly business intelligence reporting systems. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go and browse through this technology, which I developed as a standard microservices template. And as you can see, we talked about the Web API Gateway in our podcast 3 under architecture, which is the main routing technology. Then we have our backends for front ends, componentry for mobile and as well as browser applications, and that's further routes our technology to business services. And we can see where we set that up in a routing configuration file. Then moving into the services of our microservices template, we have a saga, which is a choreographed series of transactions, long-winded usually, for supply chains or fulfillment orders. And you can also see the actual ordering service that the saga uses to create those. We have the consumers, which we'll talk about later, which are called upon by the messaging service, and as well as the aggregated services below. And we have an area of libraries, which are ubiquitous to all the various services. They are common libraries to all your various business domains. So we don't repeat them, and they're easy to maintain, and they give us consistency throughout the technology. Then last but not least is Docker Compose. Docker Compose is our actual container runtime development environment. And here you see the various ways you can configure those containers. And remember, those containers are actually essentially little computers, have their own CPU and memory resources configured. And we can see our services here running in Docker, and then some third-party services as well, written in probably different languages, and then our logs and configurations as well. Then we move into observing our CPU and memory usages. On top there is the entire application, or cumulative CPU and memory, and then we can move into our actual individual microservices. And this is normally viewed by IT managers and also business managers. So the actual business owners of the application can actually observe their own individual resources as the application is in development or even live. And we can see there that there's been probably a short-winded transaction there, Saga, and then we can actually move into the actual memory usage there as it's spiked up and spiked down. Then we can actually look at a new way that Scrum team and business managers can actually look at a microservice network, if you will, and the various messaging that takes place. Because now we've become a message-centric technology with publishers and consumers. Remember from our podcast that microservices never talk to each other directly. They talk to each other through an event broker or a message queue. And that can give us ultimate durability and also observability. Then we can drill down into our actual ordering saga and its CPU usage. We've got some alerts there as well. And all our various ways of looking at those messages in real time. Lengths of each actual transaction. You can see our amount of fulfilled orders, and also how long each transaction of those fulfilled orders lasted. Publishing rates, send rates, receive rates. So very, very detailed observation of messaging. And then we can actually move into, particularly for users and customers, a graphic or information map, or if you will, that we mentioned in podcast 1. See that there was a faulted order there. We have a successful order there. And we can see the actual flow of steps that it took to complete that transaction. And we then will be able to drill into the detail of the diagram. We can sort it by a table view or a grid view. And we can look at each individual node that's sorted in a certain manner. Go down to the sorting control. And we can sort on our faulted orders, of which we have one here. And we can look at the detail. And we can see that that order faulted because of a rejected credit card. Imagine that. And then we can actually go and see it in detail and see the messaging to that actual step and see why it failed. The order number was. So there you have it. You have an overview of the observable characteristics of microservices in 4 points of view, and very, very, very useful to the team, particularly in development and ongoing development. That concludes part one. Part two, we will actually be looking at a broader view of the network of microservices as they come from, as messages come from the internet into our gateway and are distributed through the microservices network. So that will be part two, coming soon. And thank you very much.